What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Metalmorph deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play and that I've included all sorts of spicy engines in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 2 copies of Red Eye's Black Full Metal Dragon. This card is my favorite Metalmorph card, and it's so cool to actually see Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon retrained into such an awesome boss monster. This card has such a cool ability that cannot be a normal summoner set. It must first be special summoned with max Metalmorph that was activated by treating a level 5 or higher dragon monster. You know, so reveal this card in your hand and set a Metalmorph trap from your deck, and if you do, shovel this card back into the deck. This card is also a walking negate that can do burn damage with the ability that when your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of one attack with your monster that your opponent controls, which is a crazy powerful ability. We then play a single copy of Metal Zoa X. Metal Zoa X is great to be able to play as a one-of in the build because this card also has a really cool ability that up to twice per turn when your opponent activates a monster effect or a spell effect, quick effect, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a great ability to be able to use. Plus this card can reveal itself to be able to actually set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck, and if you do, shovel this card back in the deck, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of Metal Flame Swordsman. Metal Flame Swordsman is such a powerful card in this build because this card has a really cool effect that it cannot be normal summoner set. It must first be special summoned with max Metalmorph that was activated by triggering a level 5 or higher warrior monster. You can also reveal this card in your hand and then add a card to your hand that mentions max Metalmorph from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and if you do, shovel this card in your deck, which is a crazy powerful effect to basically use this card like a Rhoda to grab the exact max Metalmorph card that you need. This card also has a really cool ability when this card's on your side of the field. Each time your opponent activates a card or effect, this card gains 300 attack and you inflict 500 points damage to your opponent when that effect resolves, which is a crazy probability just to do some burn damage to your opponent. We then play 2 copies of Red Eye's Metal Claws Dragon. This card is really cool as a 2-of in the deck because you can actually activate Metalmorph traps the turn they were set when this card's on your side of the field. And this card also has the ability you can send a face down card you control to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, and you have a max Metalmorph in the field or the graveyard, you can actually add a Metalmorph trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a great ability to recover a copy of max Metalmorph. We then play 2 copies of Zoa the Fiendish Beast. Zoa the Fiendish Beast is really cool as a 2-of in the build, and this card is really if your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. Also, if this card's in your hand, you can actually special summon this card in defense position. Then if max Metalmorph is not in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon one monster from their hand. And during the main phase, you can set a Metalmorph trap from your deck to your side of the field, which is a great ability to instantly get to a Metalmorph trap, but this card is really good in the build as a 2-of. We then play 3 copies of Metal Illusionist. Metal Illusionist is crazy powerful in this deck to be able to use because this card can actually change its type, which is insane. This card is ability you can increase this card's level by 4 during your opponent's turn only, making this card a level 5 monster, so you can summon out any of your Metalmorph monsters, which is so cool because you can turn this card into a fiend, you can turn it into a warrior, or you can turn it into a dragon, so you can summon out any of the max Metalmorph monsters to your side of the field. This card also has the ability if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually set a Metalmorph trap from the deck. Then if max Metalmorph is in your graveyard, you can draw a card. But the big effect on this card is that you can actually declare one other monster card's type, and this card becomes that type until the end of your opponent's turn, making this card full Fiendsmith combo because it is a light monster. So you can turn this card actually into a Fiend monster and then link it away for your copy of Fiendsmith Requiem and go full Fiendsmith combo using Metal Illusionist, which is absolutely insane and such a cool play to do in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. Black Metal Dragon is great as a 3-of in the build and such a powerful card to be able to summon, as this card has the ability, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can actually add a Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand, which is such a powerful effect to be able to use to instantly grab your copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and basically link climb into a copy of Hieratic Seals. We then play a single copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This card is super cool to be able to play in the deck because all you have to do is summon out your copy of Black Metal Dragon, link it away for a copy of Striker Dragon, then you'll actually get to search Darkness Metal from your deck to your hand, banish the Striker Dragon, summon out your copy of Darkness Metal, and then use Darkness Metal to bring back your copy of your Black Metal to your side of the field, so you can actually link them both away for a copy of Seals, which then will give you another search off of Black Metal Dragon to search out a copy of Full Metal Dragon, then just to reveal it and set to your side of the field Max Metalmorph, setting up for a copy of Black Full Metal Dragon, which is super cool. We then play 3 copies of the Bestial Rebellion. Bestial Rebellion is great in this build as a 3-of, because this card's ability cannot be normal summoner set. It must be special summoned from your hand or the graveyard by treating a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster. Also, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add a Bestial monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. And also, during your main phase, when this card's on your side of the field, you can place a branded Continuous Speller Trap from your deck face up on the field, which is great to help us get to a copy of Branded Regained. We then play a single copy of Bestial Magnamut. Magnamut is awesome in this build. Actually, let us target a lighter dark monster in either player's graveyard and banish it. If you do, special summon this card from your hand. It's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. And if this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn, add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, adding the exact card that we need. We then play a single copy of Druis Worm. Druis Worm is great to help us spot remove cards off the field, plus it's a level 6 dragon that we can use with Max Metalmorph to stab into a copy of Black Full Metal Dragon. We made a single copy of Baldrake. Baldrake is great in this deck as well to basically just use this card to spot remove cards off the field, plus again, it's a level 6 monster. We then made 3 copies of Fiendsmith Engraver. Fiendsmith Engraver is great as a 3-of because this card is a level 6 Fiend monster that we can use to go into Metal Zoa X, but you can also discard this card to add a Fiendsmith Spell Trap from your deck to your hand, helping us instantly get to a copy of Tract. This card is super cool as well because if it's in your graveyard, you can actually shuffle one of their light Fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck or the X deck to special summon this card, which is a really powerful ability. We made a single copy of Lacrima. Lacrima is awesome as a 1-of in the build. It's basically a foolish burial for the deck, letting you, if it's normal or special summon, send a Fiendsmith card from your deck to the graveyard, which is a great ability to be able to use to instantly get the exact card we need in the grave. Plus, this card is a great effect. If this card's in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target a Fiendsmith Link monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and you special summon this card, or special summon that monster, which is a great ability to shuffle this card back in the deck and summon out your copy of Requiem to your side of the field, which is super cool to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Lurie. Lurie is great to be able to search off your copy of Track, so you can basically just discard this card and send it out to your side of the field going full Fiendsmith combo, which is awesome. We made 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Molcharmy Fluros. Fluros is great as a 3-of in the build, just to help us dig in the deck for the exact card that we need, and it's super cool to be able to play this card in this deck, especially since we're playing a 50-card build. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is awesome in this deck to basically just use this card to summon out your copy of Metal Illusionist or your copy of Black Metal Dragon, depending on what you need. I'm playing a single copy of Branded Regained. Branded Regained is great to be able to put on your side of the field using your copy of Lubellium, and this card is a great ability if a lighter dark monster is banished, except during the damage step, you can actually target one of those monsters and place that monster on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw a card, which is a really cool ability and also helps you swarm the war with your bestial monsters, which is insane. We then play 3 copies of Incoming Machine. This card is super cool as a 3-of in the build, and I absolutely love that they actually printed this card as a secret rare in the tins. Well, this card is a great card to be able to play because it lets you add a monster that mentions Max Metalmorph or a Metalmorph trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and if you control a Metalmorph trap, you can actually banish this card from the graveyard and then target a defense system monster that your opponent controls and change it to face-up attack position, but you can only use this effect, this card, once per turn, which is a pretty cool ability about this card. We then also play 3 copies of Fiendsmith Track. Fiendsmith Track is an amazing 3-of in the build. Since we did lose Moon on the ban list, you kind of have to maximize on the Fiendsmith cards in the main deck to be able to get into the Fiendsmith engine, especially in this 50 card build. So this card is great to be able to play as a 3-of to let you add a light Fiend monster in deck to your hand, which is always going to be your copy of Lurie, and then you discard your copy of Lurie to the graveyard, and you can also banish this card in the graveyard to fusion summon a Fiendsmith fusion monster from your extract using monsters from your hand or field, which is a pretty cool ability. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Fiendsmith in Paradise. Fiendsmith in Paradise is really cool as a 1-of in the build, actually letting us target a level 7 or higher light fiend monster you control and send all cards on the field to the graveyard that are not that monster. And if your opponent special summons a monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and then send a Fiendsmith monster from your deck or extract to the graveyard, which is a great ability to help us get the exact card we need in the grave. We might see a copy of Flame Coating Metalmorph. Flame Coating Metalmorph is really cool to basically tag your Metalmorph monsters in and out because it lets you tribute a face-up monster that mentions Max Metalmorph to special summon a monster that cannot be normal summon or set that mentions Max Metalmorph from the deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Then you can equip this card to that monster, and with the following effect, that if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can actually send this card to the grave instead, helping you protect your monsters. We then play 3 copies of Max Metalmorph. Max Metalmorph is what the entire deck basically revolves around. This card is super cool to be able to play because this card lets us tribute a face-up monster to special summon a monster that cannot be normal summoned or set that mentions Max Metalmorph from our hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to that monster with the following effect. The equipped monster gains 400 attack and defense. It cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects, and also your opponent cannot target it with monster spell effects either, which is a really powerful ability to be able to use just to protect your monsters, while also sending out some awesome cards like using a copy of your monsters to summon out your Metal Flame Swordsman, Metal Zoa X, or your copy of Black Full Metal Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is really cool to be able to play in the deck to basically just use this card to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. And it's overall a fantastic trap card in this build to go along with all the other cards in this deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Desiree. Desiree is a great boss monster you'll make in this deck because this card is just super cool at summoning itself out to your side of the field and using it as a multiple negate on the field, plus it comes out absolutely massive. I'm going to see a copy of Fiendsmith's Lacrima. This card is newly unbanned and put back to 1, and this card is super easy to make, just taking 2 Light Fiend monsters to make this card. And this card is the monsters that your opponent control lose 600 attack points, and you can only use each of the following effects card once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can actually target one of your Light Fiend monsters that's banished or in the graveyard and add it to your hand or special summon it, giving you 2 level 6 monsters out on your side of the field, helping you make XZ plays. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle one of your Light Fiend monster in graveyard into the deck or the extract and inflict 1200 points of damage to your opponent, which is a pretty cool effect. I'm playing a single copy of Princess. Princess is just really good in the deck overall to be able to use your copy of Lacrima, to be able to actually equip Requiem to Lacrima and then turn into a copy of Princess, giving us an additional level 6 Fiend monster on our side of the field, just in case we need it. We then play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is great as a 1-of in the build and so easy to summon in this deck, just requiring a light and a dark monster to make this card. You can treat any monster as a tuner that's a light or dark monster. As long as their levels equal 10, you can make this card, and it's super easy to put light and dark into this card, and it's just such an awesome boss monster to be able to summon. Plus, the spotter moves a card off the field when it's summoned to your side of the field. Like a single copy of M7. M7 is great to help us recover cards from the graveyard. It's just a really good XZ monster to be able to make in this deck because it's so easy to summon. We play a single copy of DDD Wave High King Caesar. Wave High King Caesar is a double negate, and it's just super good to be able to make in this build. Basically, just summon this card out to your side of the field and control the board. We have a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's great in this build as well to basically just use this card to bounce cards off the field and be a skill drain for 3,000 or higher attack point monsters. We have a single copy of Agnum Day. Agnum Day is really powerful in this deck as a 1-up. It's basically just summon out your copy of Desiree to your side of the field and equip it to it, or equip this card to Desiree and make it absolutely massive. It's just such a cool card to be able to equip to your copy of Desiree. And it also gives Desiree piercing damage, which is crazy. We have a single copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is great to be able to play in this build as well because this card is basically a double interruption and just super cool to be able to summon. We have a single copy of Sequence. Sequence is great to be able to make your copies of your Fiendsmith fusion monsters, and it's great to be able to summon in this build. We have a single copy of IP. IP is to be able to make your copy of SP a double interruption in the build, and plus it's super easy to summon in this deck. We have a single copy of Hieratic Seals. Hieratic Seals is super cool to be able to make, and part of the Red Eyes combo to be able to summon this card out to your side of the field as the end piece so we can summon out a different monster like a copy of Druid Swarm at the end of the combo using this card while also spinning a card out the field. So we can have a level 6 dragon on the field to activate Max Metalmorph and spot move a card on the field using Druid Swarm and summon out a copy of Full Metal Dragon. We have a single copy of Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon is great in the deck and part of the Red Eyes combo to link away your copy of Black Metal Dragon off the field so you can go full Red Eyes combo. We have a single copy of Fiendsmith Requiem. Requiem is insane. Just requires any one light fiend monster to make this card, which is ridiculously easy to be able to do in this deck. And this card is the ability you can only use you can only special summon this card once per turn. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card to special summon a Fiendsmith monster from your hand or deck, which is super cool to be able to instantly bring out your copy of Requiem to your side of the field, your copy of Lacrima to your side of the field using Requiem, so that you can actually use Lacrima's ability to send another Fiendsmith card from your deck to the graveyard and basically have all your Fiendsmith cards online. We may have seen a copy of Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh is newly unbanned. You got to play this card if you can. It's just super good to be able to play him. Helps you protect your monsters from battle, and it can easily bring itself back to your side of the field, which is awesome to be able to do. And it's just such a cool Link monster that we finally have back. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Metalmorph deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try, especially with all these spicy engines I put in this build. This deck is super spicy and super fun to be able to play because you have so many cool engines in it to be able to make all sorts of insane plays. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.